Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Thursday, 26 June. I'm your host Daniel, and just before we get into it, there's not going to be a podcast tomorrow as I am away, so sorry about that, don't miss me too much. Today, we're going to be talking about riots in Kenya that have killed several people. The CIA chief has said that Iran's nuclear program is severely damaged, and Iran has partially reopened its airspace. So firstly, at least 8 people were killed on Wednesday as thousands took to the streets to mark 1 year since the deadly unrest, which allegedly saw plainclothes police officers fire at anti-government protesters. Figures from the human rights group Amnesty put the death toll at 16. Kenyan officials closed the parliament and the presidential office in Nairobi, with live broadcasting of the protests banned. All deaths were believed to have been caused by gunshot wounds, according to the Kenyan National Commission on Human Rights. At least 61 people were also arrested nationwide, a news agency added. Last June, at least 60 people died as security forces clashed with protesters angry over tax hikes and economic hardship. While last year's protests eventually subsided after the president withdrew the controversial tax proposal, public anger over police violence remains high. The death of a blogger in police custody earlier this month has further fueled discontent. So what? There's some pretty significant videos going around about these protests, and they look to be massive, much larger and more turbulent than protests you would see in the Western world with people just running in mass groups. Also, the police response is crazy to see as they're just indiscriminately firing live rounds into the crowd. So I'm not surprised 8 people died. I'm surprised more didn't die. It seems likely that they'll just fizzle out again as the protesters kind of just lose energy and it all just subsides. But there's definitely no kind of solution on the horizon for Kenya. Things are not going to get any cheaper. Taxes are probably going to continue to go up, and the police are going to continue to use deadly force as they don't really have any alternatives to control large protests. So yeah, not good times in the African continent. And next, Iran's nuclear program has been severely damaged and set back by weekend US strikes on 3 of its nuclear sites, the director of the CIA said on Wednesday. This includes new intelligence from historically reliable and accurate source methods that several key Iranian nuclear facilities were destroyed and would have to be rebuilt over the course of years, the director added. His assessment echoes earlier statements by US President Donald Trump and his administration, saying the Iranian nuclear program was completely destroyed. However, a preliminary assessment by the DIA, or Defense Intelligence Agency, which was leaked to the media on Tuesday, suggested that the strikes only set Iran's nuclear program back a few months. The White House has sharply denied this, with Trump branding it as fake news. So what? This is kind of what I was talking about yesterday, with like the politicization of intelligence and how it's quite scary. Because now, do you believe the CIA director, or is he just coming out and saying this to try and back up what Trump is saying and be like a Trump crony? It's very hard to tell. Once this stuff starts happening, it's really hard to trust the intelligence community when they're coming out and saying it. While I think it's likely that Iran's nuclear program is severely damaged and will take years to rebuild due to the accuracy and use of specific weapons to destroy it, it is still a kind of scary time for the US intelligence community. Also, I like their use of the wording of the source method there, as it is very specific and quite interesting to read in an unclassified document. And lastly, Iran has partially reopened its airspace following a ceasefire agreement with Israel, which ended nearly 2 weeks of fighting, flight tracking website Flight Radar and Iranian media reported. Flight Radar said on a post on X that the western portion of Tehran's flight information region remained closed. So the west of Iran is still closed and the east of Iran is now apparently open. There are exceptions for the west, but yeah. The official Iranian news agency confirmed this news, quoting the transport minister. Reopened airports include Chabaz, I can't pronounce any of those. Israel has said that it struck the latter during the war. Okay, so it hit one of these during the war. Domestic and international flights in other parts of Iran, including Tehran, are not permitted until further notice, he added. So what? This is very positive news, as it's kind of like unofficial confirmation that Iran intends to abide by the ceasefire agreement and actually uphold its end of the deal by opening airspace, as they wouldn't be doing that if they were worried about Israeli jets passing into their airspace. Unless, of course, you want to risk shooting down another passenger airliner, which would be awkward, to say the least. So yeah, positive news. Hopefully this is just the first step in like a re-normalization of things in the Middle East, and we can look forward in a bit of hope. So yeah, good news on that front. So that's been your Intel Brief. I've been your host, Daniel, and just a reminder, there'll be no brief tomorrow, so sorry about that. See you.